Skipper, first and foremost, your assessment of the whole day.
Yeah, I thought Lesson TK started extremely well, I think, in that first session. I think leading into that second session, from the spin side of things, apart from Wellington, I think we've really struggled just to get any sort of consistency throughout the day. Obviously, a little bit of bad luck, a little inside edge there from Pretorius, which was given not out, and Clive Madunde's drop at mid-wicket, with off Corbin Bosch. So I think you could look back and think a couple of missed chances there, I suppose, which might have changed the outcome of the day's play. But I think from the spin department, I thought we just weren't really consistent enough. I think hats off to TK and Bless, being the only two seamers, I think, in the bowling unit. I thought they held up their part exceptionally well. Just think the consistency from the spin side, apart from Rudy, I think he was outstanding. But that you've got to support, the rest of your bowling group, and I thought we just didn't do that enough today.
There were times that Vincent Masekis, the big day, was getting a lot of punishments. What was the reason to keep putting him in?
Well, he's obviously a frontline spinner, and if he's not going to bowl the overs, then I would have had to turn to possibly Benny or Wes, and it felt like with the shorter boundary there, it was going to be probably a little bit easier. I was just hoping that Benny could obviously be a little bit more consistent, and unfortunately it was a little bit off today.
And Tanaka Jivanga, you just mentioned it in passing. This comeback after that long injury, what does it do for your plans with the team and so on?
Yeah, I mean, he's always had that X factor, obviously, with his pace and that, and it's nice to see him back fully fit and firing again. I think, when you think of Richie and Garava coming back into the fold, at least now you're thinking you've got some decent depth to your seaming department. So it's nice that other guys, apart from Les and Richie, are standing up, and hopefully, there's a few more that will put their hand up as we go on throughout the rest of the year.
Final question from me. Sean looked like he was struggling towards the end of the day. Is that something to be worried about?
No, unfortunately, he took a small blow on the knee, and it's just restricted his movement a little bit. But he's managing that, and he's perfectly fine.
Skipper, just to take you back, a couple of decisions that didn't go your way that seemed pretty much straight. How do you feel about those decisions?
Yeah, I think it's quite frustrating. Obviously, when you don't have DRS, you can't review those and try and get the right decision at the time. And I think it's one of those occasions where you got to try and put it behind you and keep focused on what's at hand. And that was obviously just making sure that we stuck to our areas, stuck to our plans, and not drift away too much just because of those decisions.
And now, just taking a look at Tanaka Chiwanga's figures, these are his best test figures so far for this that he's picked up. How does that boost your confidence as a captain, like you said, if you look towards the future, having back at Sarawak as well? Does it make the workload lighter?
Yeah, no, certainly, and I think it's nice to have a decent bank of seamers that you can say, okay, well, we definitely want to go in with 4 seamers because we've got X, Y, Z. So it's really nice to see TK back in the fold. I thought, just before he got injured in Ireland, that was some of the best bowling I've seen him bowl. So it was unfortunate the injury happened at that time, but it's great to see him back again now and back to what he was doing in Ireland. So especially here in Bulawayo, not too much on offer in terms of the wicket and the Kookaburra ball. But I thought he hit his lengths really well today, and he was nice and consistent.
Now, with the runs that South Africa has put on the board at the end of day one, is it something that you expected, or is it something that you can work within the framework of plans that you had for the game?
Yeah, we expected there to be, the day to be quite, sort of fast scoring. I think with you looking at the lineup that they've got players that are going to take the game forward. But within that, I thought that opportunities were going to come our way. Unfortunately, we probably dropped a couple chances. And then looking into tomorrow, I think it's a case of us obviously picking up that last wicket as quick as possible, and then getting stuck into it with the batting.
And finally, from me, just assessing Masekis's performance. I know many would say that he was benched quite a lot, but looking at the players that are there, that were in at that particular time, they're quite explosive players who usually play white ball in the sort of that similar plans. Would you give him the liberty to say that he was there? That's the way in which they played, rather than him being put under the pump?
Yeah, look, he was put under pressure, and he hasn't played a lot of Test cricket, so I think you got to give him the opportunity to learn as well. He wouldn't have come up against guys that play that sort of attacking brand of cricket and the ball striking capabilities that they've got. So it's something that he'll certainly learn from, and something that he'll take forward.
Thank you.
Right.